Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Bandwagon Hopping. I'm your host who does the most, Sherm. We have a very special episode for you today. We're going to have Brando on to talk about the surging New York Knickerbockers. So stay tuned, don't touch that dial, enjoy the show. So before we get to Brando, I want to do a segment that I call Sherm's Speech. Now work with me because the title is still a work in progress. But this is just a place where I can talk about things and topics that have really piqued my interest lately. And today I want to talk about NBA rookies, because today is Friday of All-Star Weekend, and in a normal season, this would be when the Rising Stars game happens. Now, a lot of people don't really watch the Rising Stars game, they don't really care. I've always enjoyed the showcase, especially since at one time where Kyrie robbed that dude of his ankles clean in front of everybody. Ever since then, I've always enjoyed watching the Rising Stars game. And part of the reason why is because it helps me just take a step back and take stock of how rookies in the NBA and young players are developing and how they're impacting their team. So this season, because of obvious reasons, there won't be a Rising Stars game. But I still want to take time and kind of recognize some rookies who have been performing. First up, we have to go to Charlotte. The number 3 overall pick, LaMelo Ball. He's all over the place, all over ESPN, SportsCenter, your Bleacher Report notifications. You cannot escape LaMelo Ball, the presumptive Rookie of the Year. And for good reason, too. This dude is box office. This dude is a star already, man. I was really hesitant on LaMelo when he was coming out of Australia. Part of the reason why I wasn't sure if he would be mature enough. I wasn't sure if he'd be able to hit the 3-ball consistently, and I wasn't really sure about his defense. But he's really answered those questions in Charlotte, helping them win, especially since he's been elevated to the starting lineup. I think Charlotte has done a good job of putting a winning atmosphere and culture around him. He has a coach that's going to hold him responsible. His owner, Michael Jordan, Michael doesn't play. And he has so many veteran teammates that are going to show him the ropes, show him how to win in the NBA. Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, busy! LaMelo Ball, super amazing, man. Super awesome player. And the scary part with him is that he's only at 5% of his peak powers right now. We're still not fully sure what he could become when it's all said and done. What type of player he will actually be in his prime. That's the scary part about LaMelo. Another player that's really impressed me, another point guard that is Tyrese Halliburton out in Sacramento. Now, I was really high on Halliburton coming out of the draft. I had him going 4th overall to the Bulls. He ended up falling all the way to 12. And I think a lot of teams are kind of starting to regret passing on him. Tyrese is a pro. He has all the skills you need to be a good basketball player. Ball handling, shot making, decision making, IQ, defense. He's just an all around basketball player, and most importantly, he's a winning player. Now, Sacramento has really struggled, but if they ever get their situation together, Tyrese is going to be a super valuable piece to him. And it's kind of a shame, really, that we're not seeing Tyrese on a team that's in the playoff mix, like maybe Dallas or Phoenix or Golden State, something like that. Because I really think on the right team, he could play a role similar to what Tyler Hero did with the Heat last season. Not necessarily the shooting performance that Tyler Hero had, but still being a clutch guy with a good head on his shoulders that could help elevate his team, be an X factor, and take them to the next level. Another dude that's really impressed me, and yes, it's another guard, Immanuel Quickley out of New York, who severely outperformed his draft stock. Now, okay, yes, we're going to talk about IQ more with Brando. And yes, it's the Knicks. We understand it could be just like Linsanity 2.0. But IQ is really raw. He's a really good player, man. People keep on sleeping on guards coming out of Kentucky. I do not understand why. Almost every single Kentucky guard has panned out in the NBA. It's time to stop sleeping on them in the draft. Now, 4th, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Anthony Edwards, the 1st overall pick. Anthony was another guy I was super skeptical on. And it was more of maturity with him. He has all the physical tools, he has all the athleticism in the world. He's a super skilled and gifted player. But I think he's the type of person who needs to be put in the right situation. And when I saw that he was going first overall to Minnesota, I wasn't sure if that would be the right situation for Anthony Edwards to get the maximum potential out of him that you can. And we've already seen his tenure in Minnesota has gotten off to a pretty bumpy and rocky start, really. I mean, his coach just got fired. They have the worst record in the league. And more importantly for me, he doesn't really have veteran leadership around him. I mean, D'Lo and Cat are still pretty young. Ricky Rubio, he's a good leader, but he's not that guy. And Malik Beasley, his other veteran, gets suspended like every 3 days. I don't know. Minnesota better figure it out fast because Anthony Edwards is way too talented. And I just think that unless they figure it out, it's just going to be another wasted talent. So, honorable mentions: Isaac Okoro, Desmond Bane in Memphis, Precious Achiuwa, James Wiseman, Patrick Williams. But yeah, those are just some of the rookies. I think this draft has been low-key pretty good. There's so many rookies contributing to their teams, and not all of them are stars, but they're stars in their role. And that's super important for any NBA team, finding those role players who can help contribute to winning. Because at the end of the day, that's the name of the game, winning. We're going to talk to Brando about the Knicks right after this break. Stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? Joining me now is super fan of the New York Knickerbockers, Brando. What's good with you, Brody?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. And I want to have you on because the Knicks are absolutely surging right now. At the time that we're doing this, they're above 500. They're the fourth seed in the Eastern Conference. Now that's pretty rare because the Eastern Conference is a mess right now. But still, when you look at the Knicks roster, it's pretty close to the team from last year, which didn't do so well. What do you think is the biggest change from last year to this year?
Well, you know what I'm saying. We got rid of Fizz. Fizz, he's doing an amazing job. He changed the culture we got, and then on top of that, we got Julius. He's stepping up to the plate. He really making changes and stuff. And then we got our bench players. They playing amazing too. So we got a bunch of role players and everything. You know what I'm saying? And everything's working good so far.
Well, you mentioned Julius Randle. He's slated to play in his first All-Star game this weekend. First All-Star from the Knicks since Kristaps Porzingis. I know that's a sore topic for y'all. But what has Julius meant to the team and to the fans?
You know what I'm saying, man? It's an honor to have him because he's playing like he's in his prime right now. And New York, we've always been longing for a superstar, and he's finally like that star that we've always wanted. So it feels great to have him, and I just hope he wants to be there long term. We could get him his money and he could stay because he's saying he likes it there, and we love him here too. So
Now, the Knicks have made pretty much the biggest trade of the regular season so far, acquiring Derrick Rose. What does he bring to the table? What's it like having D Rose back in New York?
oh man, I'm sure every New York fan, they love D Rose from back in the day, but having him there, it's amazing because we wanted that veteran presence. And D Rose does exactly that. He's at point guard and he gets the ball to our rooks and everybody on the team, and he gets everybody involved. And on top of that, he can score very well. So it's a pleasure to have him back, and he's playing amazing right now. And I'm happy we could give him the chance that he needed, and I'm glad to have him, man. Hope he can stay longer.
Now, right now, the Knicks, they're kind of just a cute playoff team. They're just a cute story, all that. But real talk, real talk. You don't expect them to win a championship anytime soon. They might make the playoffs, they might win a series or something, but they're not really a championship caliber team quite yet. What type of player do you think they should look to add? Whether it's trade or free agency. Feel free to, name some names as well. Some people I was thinking about, maybe Karl Anthony Towns or Bradley Beal or, just
Hmm.
what are your thoughts on that?
Well, personally, I feel like we got a lot of depth at the center position right now. We got Nerlens, and we got Mitch, but we could really look into Brad because he's kind of disgruntled right now, and we got those max slots that we could use, and he looks like he really wants to leave, even though he's saying he wants to stay. So hopefully, with the increase, we're playing better now. So I know nobody wanted to come to New York before, but now it's looking a lot better. So hopefully, he looks over here a little bit.
What about a guy like Victor Oladipo? He recently turned down an extension with the Houston Rockets. He's going to be a free agent after the season. He hasn't been the same since his injury, but do you think he could maybe rediscover that in New York?
Well, VO is a really good player. I loved his game in where was he? In Indiana when he was playing and everything. But right now, he's just not looking like himself. And I guess the Knicks we're trying to win right now, and we don't want to give a player that's injured. We'll be betting on him, and he might not ever get back to where he was before. So I feel like a better player right now would be Brad. But even if we do get Victor, that would be hopefully he could work his kinks out and he could start playing how he was playing before. But right now, I feel like big star like Brad or even Cat right now is what we're looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Now, here's something that I particularly want to get your thoughts on. The Knicks have so many young players. Some have been bust. They've been bust. Some have actually shown, some flashes. They're still work in progress. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna list two players, and between the two names that I tell you, you tell me which one you think will have the better NBA career. So what do you think about Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina?
Here we go, man.
Kevin Knox
Personally,
is my boy. I already know. So watch what you say.
I know you love him, man. All right, so personally, I like Frank. He brings a lot to the defensive side of the table, but I really do feel like Kevin Knox, he has a brighter career ahead of him. Because right now, even though I don't really like, he's not my favorite player on the Knicks, I really do feel like he has the potential to be great, and he's really good. So I feel like personally, I'm taking Knox over Nidokina. You know what I'm saying?
One of the biggest skills somebody could have in the NBA is 3-point shooting. And I think at this point, Kevin Knox has shown that he can shoot the ball more reliably and consistently, he's a forward as well. Forwards are they're super limited to find forwards that can shoot. So I think Kevin Knox plays a more valuable position. He has a more valuable skill set. He may not be, live up to his draft status, but I think he could still be a better role player in his career.
One thing I will say is we're not really giving Knox the play time to, see him develop. So if anything, if I was in their position, I'd probably move him down and see if he could get his groove back a little bit, and then maybe work him into the rotation and see if he could get those points up, get those minutes up. But right now we're really deep at the forward position, so I feel like that's not why we're using him as much as we would be.
All right, so our next two names, and these are people that I'm really intrigued by. We have Obie Topham, the 8th overall pick this year. We haven't really seen that much from him, but do you think he'll be better than Mitchell Robinson?
Personally, I see him moving on. I feel like he will be a better player than Mitch. But I really do like what Mitch brings to the defensive side of the table. I feel like Obi is more offensively inclined than Mitch, but Mitch is a great defender. I love him on the team, but Obi over Mitch.
That's respectable. Last but not least, we have RJ Barrett, or IQ, the boy, Emmanuel Quickly, the rookie. Who you got?
Oh man, I gotta take my boy IQ because he plays like one of my favorite players of all time, Allen Iverson, and he's looking like Lou Williams right now. He brings a lot to the table off of the bench. Hopefully, we can see him start soon. RJ's doing amazing now. He's increased his 3-point percentage to like 40%. What is it? 47%. He's doing amazing right now, and he's shooting the ball very well. But IQ, he already looks like a bright star, and he's only a rookie. And RJ, what is this? His junior season, 3 seasons here or 2 seasons? I don't remember.
No, this is his second season.
Second season. Well, he hasn't been really what we had hoped, but he's not playing atrocious. So but IQ all day, man.
Well, so far this season, RJ Barrett is shooting 34.5% from three. We'll round it up, 35%. That's about league average. Yeah, definitely not 47, but it's around league average, and he could still, very, very much improve on that. He's shown some flashes. Hopefully, he can get it together. But IQ has really impressed so far this season for sure. Well, Brando, I appreciate you coming on and talking to us about the Knicks. I'll be rooting for them this season. I'll be rooting for them until they play Boston. But you already know, man, they've been a good story so far. Happy to see New York thriving finally, man.
Happy to see him. It's been a drought in New York. And, those fans, we're really loyal, and we're happy to see him winning finally.
I got you, man. Appreciate you, Ray.
I appreciate it.
Well, guys, that's today's show. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And also, I'm going to be doing a mailbag segment at some point. So if you have any questions, if they're reasonable, I'll make sure I answer them. Leave them in the comment section, or in the description of this video, you'll find an email address. Make sure you send those questions to me in the email address. Thank you again for watching. Spread love and positivity. This has been Bandwagon Hopping with Shamor, signing off.